Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question has to do with standard verticals versus verticals that require no radials. This is from Philip, K5HIM. Says, Dave, I want to set up a vertical antenna, but I cannot run any radials. It says my years, I think it's my grass is plugged once a year, and twice a year it is dethatched, and the machine cuts down about 4 to 5 inches. So I would be replacing radials often. Obviously, you don't want to do that. So you're going to have to bury your feed line for this antenna enough that none of this equipment will get to it. How does a no-radial vertical antenna work? It says, I live in a very restricted HOA, and I'm looking at a flagpole antenna, but want to get opinions on a no-radial antenna. There are quite a few no-radial antennas. I was just talking moments ago about the J-pole antenna. The way this works is you've got a half-wave dipole on 2 meters, and then a matching section, which is a quarter wavelength of balanced line. Here at the bottom, it's 0 ohms. Up a little ways, it's 50 ohms, and the impedance keeps climbing till you get up here to several thousand ohms, which is great for feeding the end of the end of the radiator. Now, the way antennas work, there are 2 types. Radials, a standard vertical antenna, usually ground mounted. Okay, mine, my step IR, big IR, is a ground mounted antenna, and I got about 30 radials out there, and it performs beautifully, very, very well. It's also out kind of in the trees in the back, so nobody has to look at the thing. So that's one way of doing it. Now, the other way of doing it is just like the J-pole. You put up an electrical half-wave dipole vertically, and you feed it at the bottom end because there's a balun down there that raises the feed point impedance to about 2,500 ohms if it's a 49-to-1 balun, and will feed the end of it. And then you've got your balun and your coax. Now, there's one minor little problem with this, and that is that balun has 2 terminals coming out of it. One for the end of the antenna, the other for something that will hold it where it needs to be. So you'll see that all of these antennas have wires 3 or 4 feet long sticking out from the bottom. They're very stiff. This is what's called a counterpoise. It's a place to put the energy momentarily while the sine wave is swinging one way, and then when you make it swing the other way, all of the energy comes back out of the counterpoise. Now, this goes into the bottom of the antenna. I had, the first one of these antennas that I had was a Cushcraft R5. 20 meters and up. It worked wonderfully. And they make antennas that will cover 40 meters. The AV640 antenna from Cushcraft is a good example, and there are many others. Now, the Cushcraft is part of the MFJ empire, and MFJ is calling it quits. So a lot of these antennas won't be available new anymore. However, if you call DX Engineering, they can point you at a radialless antenna. Now, these antennas actually usually should be mounted about 10 feet off the ground. Okay, so the counterpoise will be up over your head and so on. These antennas are not terribly long. And so you can put something in the backyard that'll work well. There is an antenna which I very recently tested. And let's see if it's in here. Yes, this one. It's a nice homeowner association antenna, the HV4E. Now this is a classic vertical, meaning that it has radials. Now the way I feed it, the thing is less than 20 feet tall. So I've got a 2-foot stub of metal pipe that I've got pounded into the ground. The antenna is connected to that, and then I lay the radials out on the ground. They're only about 10 feet long. So you can put a little rock or something on the end of them. And then when you are going to do the thatching, just simply pick the whole thing up, move it out of the way, let them do their thing, put it back in, spread the radials out, and you're fine. I like this antenna. It is a compromise antenna because it does not quite cover all of 40 meters, but it's 40, 20, 15, and 10. So I hope that helps you understand what your options are. As far as a flagpole antenna is concerned, you can get them so that you don't need to put out the radials. They operate under the same principle, and that might be a nice way to do it there too. So I hope that is of some help to you there, Philip, and good luck with your project, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you what you chose to do and how well it works. Until we next meet, 73.